Virgo, this is your June 2022 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is your reading. We're going to give you some astrological dates and intuitive messages to help you navigate through the next few weeks feeling a little bit more empowered. This is Romy. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune into my channel. So we're into Gemini season, fellow Mercury ruled sign, and we are going to open up your reading with the energy of the Hierophant. So here's the thing, Virgo. Mercury is going to be shifting direct on the 3rd of the month, and so this activity with the mental plane as we're in Gemini season is so interesting. I think the theme is about balancing our hearts and minds this month. When it feels like pressure, it's usually coming from the mind. When it feels like expansion, it's coming from the heart. You can see where he's pointing this to the labyrinth here. Now we've got this beautiful dove of peace, and we've got his crown chakra just receiving these incredible cosmic celestial downloads. And there is something about the learning that's taking place for you this month that's really quite extraordinary. What we need is for you to believe it. We need you to believe that things are changing, that what you are feeling into on an intuitive level can be trusted. And we want you to understand that truly when incredibly epic things take place in your life, it's usually in spite of all the reasons not to say yes, you turning up and showing up and embracing and saying yes in those moments, having the courage and the sense of fearlessness. Now, the Hierophant links into the energy of Taurus, fellow earth sign. We actually have some really positive earth energies that are coming in around the 10th and the 11th, where Mercury is trining with Pluto, Mercury in Taurus, Pluto in Capricorn. And then the next day we have Venus conjunct Uranus. So these are some kind of surprising encounters, revelations, transformational energies that I think are going to work in your favor. What I want you to remember is the things this month, Virgo, that you can control, because that's going to make you feel safe and secure within yourself. So let's think about that. That's the boundaries that you set. It's the beliefs that you hold. It's the amount of energy you choose to invest into yourself, into other people. It's the way you speak to yourself and how you respond to things that are going on around you. It's the honesty that you are able to bring to a situation, and really, I suppose, how you allow others to make you feel. There's this sense this month, I feel, for you, Virgo, of needing to detach from the outcome a little bit, because if you fixate too much and you go into your head a little bit, which you have a tendency to do at times, then we're going to end up feeling a bit depleted. We've got the energy of the Nine of Wands coming through here, and as his cloak exposes this incredible galaxy, and we've got the full moon here, there's something about the enormity of it that's almost a bit derailing for you, and it feels like I can't get my head around this. And so there's almost like a forcing, trying to sort of logically work through something, trying to process it in a way that's going to make sense. But sometimes things don't make sense. Sometimes the way the universe operates and destiny steps in, we don't get to see all of the minutiae, all of the detail, and understand how it's all going to come into play. And, there's something about Gemini season that really helps us to sort of hold these two incredibly opposing ideas. You see, we've got the white and the black wolf here, and still be able to function. And I think that's important for you this month, because you've got a lot to do. And so I don't want you losing yourself trying to figure something out in terms of situations that are unfolding for you. What we need is for you to sink into that deep sense of trust, because we are going to be stripping away the illusions of things, have no doubt, because Saturn is going to shift retrograde on the 4th of the month in Aquarius. We also have later this month on the 28th, Neptune going retrograde. So there's an invitation here for us to start to revisit our commitments, review our boundaries, think about the long-term impact of things. And where we've been sitting in a place of fantasy, then sometimes we get to see the cold, hard light of day. But that doesn't mean it takes away the magic. Here's the thing, right? Because as we're balancing out our heart and our mind, we still need to be fueled by what that spiritual calling is, what that spiritual truth is telling us. But as we are able to detach a little bit more from the outcome and find that state of presence, then we're able to persevere. And that's really the message for me always around the Nine of Wands. Like, how do I keep going in spite of these opposing forces, in spite of the fact that my heart and my head is pulled in opposite directions, in spite of the fact that the reality that I'm observing and what I'm seeing mirrored back to me doesn't feel like what I've got going on within me. You know, there's a sense right now that you're probably in some aspects feeling calmer than you've ever felt in your life, but at the same time more hyper aware of the anxiety and the level of sort of stress. And it's just because the advancement and the awakening that you're arriving at now is helping you to kind of tune in and focus to a greater degree of where the energy is coming from. Whether it requires emotional self-regulation because it's rooted from a place of fear with past experiences, or if it's coming from the soul, if it's coming from source, and it's wanting you to feel into that sense of stability and security for yourself. So we're going to invite Mercury into Gemini from the 13th of the month. And so you have the Four of Swords here. Again, a time to contemplate, to reflect, very meditative. And both the Hierophant and the Four of Swords here, I suppose, are giving you an opportunity to really think about, how do I want to integrate this? How do I want to take this teaching and really make a permanent shift and change in my life? Now, we don't want you to overestimate what you can get done in a day or a week, because that's just going to put overly strong amounts of pressure on yourself, and you'll slip back into that exhaustion or depletion of the Nine of Wands. But at the same time, we absolutely want you to not underestimate what you can achieve within the next 12 months, within the next 2 to 3 years in your life, because there are powerful permanent changes that are coming in. And it feels at times that, you know, situations are not always getting better around us, but you're definitely getting more effective at dealing with the things, which therefore has a change in perception, and therefore eventually completely transform the way that you look at it. So then what you draw in and you start to attract by way of your reality does in fact start to lead you in a different direction. You know, to see the positive things, we have to continue to think more positively. Now we've got the full moon coming in the sign of Sagittarius from the 14th. So here we have the invitation to surrender something. Now in the fiery element of Sagittarius, there's a level of directness here. We've got the Chariot, time to get going. Now if it's time to get going, then something has to be put down, because we cannot take everything with us. It's impossible. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the experiences, the information, the wisdom that we're going to carry on this next cycle, with this next journey that we're about to embark on, is something that can help fuel and support us from a really good vibrational perspective. The Chariot says, where there is no way, we will find a way. So it doesn't matter how many blocks or challenges you're going to be coming up against this month. And the Hierophant sometimes can bring that level of rigidity. It can say conventionally, traditionally, here's all the reasons why it shouldn't or couldn't, or, you know, may not like turn out in the way that you'd expected. But this is where there's something bigger calling you and pulling you. That's when we tap into the infinite vastness of that universe, and we say, actually, there's creator energy that's involved here, and that's bigger than you. And so where this is destined on your path and you feel compelled to follow this route, you have no choice this month but to keep going. But you do need to remember the things that you can and cannot control right now. And the more you put yourself in that position where there's a sense of repetition with the visualization that you have, it's going to strengthen the pathways directly towards what you want. Now the Chariot says you're on the move. There's travel involved here, whether it's the ways that you're journeying in your mind with your meditation, with that Four of Swords coming through, or there's literally trips or things that are going to be coming through to fruition, or certainly in the works in the course of June. It's about bringing in creative, generative energy. I love the Three of Pentacles for you here. Look at all the sense of wholeness here coming through with the circles. And we've got these turtles here again, sort of bringing in this sense of wisdom and longevity and endurance. There's something about what you're putting in place and initiating this month that has a feeling about it that's like, this is for the long term. Like, this is something that I want to be a part of my life. I want to be involved in, I want to invest in. And it's the same for the people that are going to start to show up for you, because remember, we're in 10th house energy in Gemini season, so it's about your legacy. It's about how you want to move through the world, how you attach meaning to the things that you're doing. And then as we shift into Cancer season, it's all about those groups and friendships and communities, the hopes and dreams that are being illuminated here, how you start to do things differently, the fact that they're going to start to feel more revolutionary in nature to you. You're going to start to be a bit more risky in the way that you want to approach things, more futuristic in adopting different technologies or things that can help advance you. And I see a lot of people showing up to really help facilitate that. In fact, I want you to be orientated towards that level of success for yourself. You know, and it may be for some of you, as we say, where you're having to hold these opposing realities or opinions or ideas, that there are things that feel like they're crumbling or that feel like they're holding you back. And at the same time, the universe keeps delivering these signs that say, you can't give up, you can't give up. Here's another reason and another reason and another reason. Now that can be a source of frustration at times, right? Because you can feel caught in between that push-pull energy that says, well, am I supposed to do it or am I not? Because I keep trying and it feels like I thought this was the person and it's not, or I thought this was the idea and it isn't. But you're just right on the edge of something, feeling like it's about to totally transform and break through for you. And as we talk about this idea of stripping away the illusions, then we get to really find that sense of balance, that sweet spot. Now, Gemini energy spirals, yeah? And we have the Sagittarius full moon, which is also a spiraling, mutable energy. So this can feel quite dizzying if you're not rooted and intentional. And because with that full moon as well, there's an awful lot of healing energy that's coming in relation to it. But it also means that we have to be intentional about what it is that we actually want to heal. Otherwise we can end up in a bit of a sense of chaos and crisis in relation to that. Now you've got the Three of Cups coming through as well. I love these threes showing up. There's so much sort of fertile, rich, creative energy that's supporting you in the month of June. It's going to feel very different to how May unfolded with all of the heaviness of the eclipses coming through there. Much lighter sense of just feeling inspired again. So if you felt a little bit disconnected or in that kind of hazy fog with the Mercury retrograde, you are about to feel the lifting of that. Now, even though typically air and earth are not the easiest of combinations while you're in Gemini season, the fact that both of you are ruled by Mercury gives you this kind of understanding, like this mutual understanding of one another. And so I have a feeling that actually through this Gemini season, a lot of what's happening is making sense to you and you feel like you can work with the energy rather than against it. Again, we've got this emphasis around sort of friendships and something to celebrate coming in, okay? So it may be that you need to take some time to kind of really spend and prioritize more energy for the people who actually just really inspire or mirror kind of what you feel, what you think, like how you want to see the world and what's unfolding right now. It's really easy to move into that kind of lower vibrational energy of like, here we go again, here's another merry-go-round of a whole lot of fear being flooded into our nervous systems. Do you have to accept it? No, you don't. But you have to again remind yourself of the things that you are in control of. And like we said, the pressure is coming from the mind, the expansion is coming from the heart. And it needs to be tempered where you're feeling that pressure. You need to see how much it's actually helping, driving you forward with what it is that you want, or holding you back in some regards. So we're going to be welcoming gorgeous solstice energy and the sun shifting into Cancer on the 21st of June. Really beautiful, auspicious day, okay? This is a time, again, where I see having any kind of rituals or taking the time to connect with people is going to be so important. The Tower comes through here because it's like a moment. There's just a moment, right? It's sudden for sure. Does it change things? Yes. But sometimes there's this understanding that honestly, like the biggest shifts and changes happen when we are going through what we perceive as some of the hardest, toughest moments. The thing with the Tower energy is it happens so quickly that it's like there's not an awful lot of time for us to prepare, which sometimes can be a good thing because then we would get over anxious and stress about it. But it's like when the Tower happens, like sometimes life is never the same again, or there's an aspect or a part of our life that changes. And it's because the foundations were wrong, you know? And I love this particular depiction because we have this gorgeous dove of peace, we have the shooting star, we have the sun rising, we have this gorgeous kind of light streaming in from the divine. This is liberating. This is what freedom feels like. Now, is it chaotic in the way that it arrives? Absolutely. Is it going to be destructive and disruptive, either directly to you or in the energy surrounding you? More than likely. But if you deal with this even a fraction better than you have in terms of previous instances of upheaval in your life, then you've already won in some regards. You've already demonstrating your level of growth, and you have to give yourself a huge amount of credit for that. So the Tower is one of these uncomfortable energies that when it shows up, you think, oh gosh, what is coming? But inevitably, these aspects of our life are what truly end up shaping us and giving us the strength, the determination, the clarity, the information, and the wherewithal to make those really permanent adjustments. And it may be that you've been sitting on the fence in relation to something. I have this feeling that it's almost like the universe just kind of tipping you over a little bit, giving you a little bit of a shove, and just saying, okay, we're just going to go all the way now. And, you know, there may be a sense of you going, well, I wasn't ready for all the way yet, but here you are. And the kind of rising energy from this, because of the Chariot, these threes coming in, I feel like you can work with the energy. I know it sounds crazy because sometimes the Tower feels like it's out of our control. I don't think so. I think in this instance, it's like you will make the best of what is unfolding and you will be able to see the upside very, very quickly. So the sense of recovery or the resiliency or the actual kind of epiphany that you're supposed to come to is really significant. Now, what you may have with the Chariot energy sort of signifying Cancer energy here is a little bit of a disruptive turmoil, you know, either during that time. So this is maybe when it's going to fall out from that sort of 21st through the end of the month. You might have it specific to a Cancer sign. And it may even be around issues connected to commitment, to loyalty, as we look at the Hierophant energy coming through there. But again, remember that the Chariot is about succeeding against the odds, and where there isn't a way, just finding a way, or the universe making a way for something to happen. And then the recovery here is very generative. So it's like even where there are pieces that feel like they've been shattered everywhere, all over the floor, what we create, the new picture that comes from that, is something that feels much more attuned to actually what you wanted. Maybe you didn't even realize it was what you wanted. Maybe you thought this was as good as it was going to get. Maybe you had a different ideal about the direction that your life was taking you in. But I feel like there's something about the universe sort of stepping in this month for you, Virgo, and saying, actually, hold on to your hats. This is where you're going. This is where you're heading. We've got the Seven of Wands, and you know, he's surrounded in this circle of fire right now. We have this incredible lion roaring with the sense of courage, with the sense of commanding the energy. You know, his arm is lifted up and just kind of harnessing, you know, his hand on his heart space here, like really tuning in. What is it gonna take? What is it gonna take? I hear you saying. What do I need to do? What do I need to overcome to make this happen, to change this? And I think that the desire to want to make a difference for yourself, to really overcome something that has held you back, or to deal with the set of circumstances, is going to give you everything that is required in order to keep overcoming the challenges. The fact that I've got the Chariot and the Seven of Wands here, again, is just really strengthening for me this fact that you are overcoming challenge after challenge through the course of this month. What you need to be careful of is then not moving into this very defensive position and trying to justify things. You don't need to justify anything at this moment in time. And if you move into that energy, again, you're slipping back into that Nine of Wands. you know, where you're starting to get really drained and depleted because the amount of energy that it's taking to try to prove or to validate your decisions or your choices, you know, that's just going against what the natural flow of energy is that's around you. Okay, so we want to conserve our energy and use it wisely. And it's almost like following the tower, following the bus stop, the argument, the event, the situation that is going to arrive. Then it sort of motivates and galvanizes you to be able to harness. And look, his arm is upstretched with the fire directly into the Three of Pentacles, birthing something new, all of these rainbow colors coming in here. And there's a sort of quietness and an acceptance here of what is in gestation at the moment, what is going to hatch, what is going to be birthed from this. And I think you're all in with that because you understand that there really isn't another road for you to take at the moment. This is feeling like this is where destiny wants you to be. And the only way you're going to kind of get into an upheavaled position is where you start really feeling much more into kind of what the ego is trying to convince you of. Now, the Ten of Wands suggests, again, this aspect of like, okay, can this happen? Like, do I even have what it takes to see this through? I feel like I'm kind of right at the point where either I want to give up or it feels too much is being asked of me. There's too much responsibility on me and it might feel a bit overbearing. But at the same time, you're still in control. You see, he's still got this wheel where he's charting his own course here. Now, the bear is there, but I want to say it can be in the sense of it feeling protective rather than feeling like a burden. So we can understand that all of the effort, and we've actually moved from the Nine of Wands up to the 10. So what we're seeing is progression. And I think that's what you need to see in your relationships, in your work, and the advancement of your own soul journey this month. It's so important to you. But I think you need to understand, why am I doing this? You know, the intentionality of what it is that you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to heal, what you're trying to improve in your life in the course of June can make massive quantum leaps happen because your thought forms are being taken to new places. That's the beauty of Gemini season, isn't it? But even when we arrive at solstice and we have the opportunity to just kind of rebalance things in our world, it's so important. The integration needs to take, place, and we can align more beautifully with what the energy of the earth is telling us in that moment. Now, Venus trines Pluto that day. So important people and conversations are all around you at that moment in time. And Venus is still going to be in Taurus. Beautiful placement there for the goddess. And so conversations around love, around beauty and art, around your abundance, things coming into a place of harmony. But there's a still point here where you have to remember, why am I doing this? What matters to me? And it's that inner sort of reflective energy that again helps you to galvanize and sort of draw strength to keep going and persevere and push through whatever it is that feels like it might be getting in the way of things. Yeah, so let's have a look and see how your oracle cards just want to reflect this reading for you, Virgo. Okay, you have the goblin energy coming up. And really, I think this again is an indication that if you are not controlling your thoughts, they are going to control you. So there's going to be plenty of situations that you have the opportunity to kind of be tested in this regard this month. And I think a lot of it is about the external narrative of where, that media is driving the new storyline. It's like, here we go again. Here's another merry-go-round to get on. And it just doesn't have to be part of your situation. You have to be able to unplug from that collective consciousness that's driving you into a place that says there's nothing of value here. The only value that these goblins hold for you is in acknowledging things that you've been disowning within your own shadow self. And the opportunity to address that will continue to give you incredible expansion in your own journey. Okay, but even again, the number 5 is about the challenge. It's about overcoming adversity. you know, so everything in June is geared up to support Virgo for being able to deal with whatever is put in your pathway, but actually recognizing something incredible about yourself in the process. And I think that's important. Why? Because you've overlooked something in yourself. You've overlooked something that's so intrinsic and important to the value of you, and it can transform how people see you, what you ask for, what you're able to actually open up to receive energetically. So it's in that recognition where you kind of step into your greatness a little bit more. And again, that's only come because of how you've been tested or challenged. So from a divine perspective, everything has been orchestrated perfectly through the course of this month, okay? And like we said, if you cannot wrap your head around something, stop forcing it, because I have a sense that at some point it will land really softly. And when it does, it will just feel like a beautiful, all right, that makes sense to me. And that's your Four of Swords. Just give yourself some respite and some time to be able to kind of really figure out what the universe is trying to say to you at this moment in time. Oh my goodness, right, okay, so your astrology card is opposition. Confrontation. I think you're confronting parts of yourself though, Virgo. I'm not sort of suggesting that this month is marred with like arguments and things coming to a head with other people. That may be the case for some of you, but mostly I think that you're dealing with things going on in your mindset. You know, the time is right. Is your mindset right? Yeah, I said that to another sign through this soul story month of June. And, you know, we've got these two stags like kind of locking antlers at the moment. And, you know, ultimately the energy of Gemini, like I said, it really helps us to acknowledge the duality, these two different sort of twin energies that reside within us. But there's such value and richness about what they're showing you and kind of what's going to come out. And I think, again, you're going to be able to articulate and express something to someone in a way that is so much more satisfying for you through this month of June. You'll feel yourself really changing. You know, we're all continually being tested and stretched in our own soul journey, and it's uncomfortable and messy and hard. But there's something about June and you just being like, okay, I'm kind of all in now. I'm just all in. And you know, there's like an almost acceptance of like, I'm going to stop waiting for things to be perfect, because I'm not perfect. Nothing is perfect in this world. It's not supposed to be. But what I can do is I can find the richness and the beauty and the value of the present moment, because when you enjoy where you are, it's so important, because everything about the energy of that is being infused into where you are going. And you want to have the experience of where you're going to be at the best possible place it can be. So you are going to be overcoming an awful lot within yourself, within situations and dynamics around you. And I think there's a new level of commitment that comes from that. There's learning that's coming in. You may even put yourself through some kind of courses, or want to inspire yourself or teach yourself something that you know is going to be able to help you, especially with you know, your mental health, with like dealing with things on a kind of cerebral level. It feels like this is where we see you gaining real mastery over something in the course of June, Virgo, and huge amounts of creativity. So I just wanted to take opportunity to share with you my new deck, Life Soul Vision Oracle, which is now out for pre-order. I'm just going to give you a quick sight of some of the cards here. I hope to be able to do a full reading with you next month on these. Thank you if you've already supported me. I appreciate you so much. You can find all the details in the description box, the comment section underneath. There is a really comprehensive guidebook with these cards, guys. I'm going to go into the visual description. I've got a card meaning. We talk about the card in the light and in the shadow, and there's also a soul affirmation that comes in with it as well. So if you're interested to see the full deck, you can get a preview of that on my website as well. Okay, so this is a general reading for the month of June. I'm going to invite you to just think about a personal question right now, Virgo, we might not have covered in the main spread here. We're going to go ahead and pull a couple of cards for you. Now, the extended version, we're going to talk for another 25 minutes or so. We will give you, obviously, the insight into your personal question and also clarify this main reading so that you get additional insights. It's a way to support my channel and my work, and also just for you to get more support as you move through this month. You can find the link for that in the description and the comment section underneath, guys, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and clarify this main spread, just beginning with the Hierophant energy. What else can we hear about the Hierophant? Okay, we've got the Queen of Cups coming in here. Water energy, Cancer showing up again, might be relevant, or Scorpio, Pisces. And we have the Two of Swords here, interesting. And the energy of the Star. Okay, we have the Empress coming through there. And the energy of Death. King of Wands. Okay, we have another Tower energy here. And the Eight of Cups. Nine of Swords. Okay, this is the Six of Pentacles. And you've got the High Priestess coming through here. And another Seven of Wands, guys. Okay. Six of Cups. Queen of Wands. Queen of Pentacles. Three of Cups here again coming through. Beautiful. This is the Page of Pentacles, the Jester in this deck. And another Three of Pentacles. I really like these cards coming through, confirming the energy. Wheel of Fortune. Knight of Pentacles here. Magician. Two of Wands. You have a lot of court cards showing up this month. A lot of people have a lot to say. Be mindful of all the outside interference this month. Page of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. Okay, Virgo, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you a beautiful month of June. If you're joining me for the extended, I look forward to continuing this conversation with you there. You take good care.